You're always late. I can't take you anymore. You have no more sick time. Oh, now 6. Are you okay? You don't do your work. You handed everything late. You owe me 3 reports. I can't take you anymore.
Athens. Never imagined coming to a place like this, but here I am.
I see a day to see a job is what it made me. Looking bravery, see it's mine to slavery. 9 to 5, grind and strive. A fucking nigga pay me less. It pay my bills at minimum, but see it pay me stress doing this.
I know you may be expecting the whole documentary, like I normally do. Trust me, that's coming. But unfortunately, this was just a quick stop for me, so I couldn't spend too much time exploring. This trip for me was strictly about basketball and seeing how things were ran over here, and learning from some coaches and players who know how it all goes. Everybody always says if they don't make it to the NBA, they're gonna go overseas. But it's a different ball game over here. On this side of the world, you gotta know all the different ins and outs. In this video, we'll learn a little bit more about how things work.
This is what I need. Never saw
Where do I start? Well, first of all, my job here is to train these 3 guys. I'm prepping them for a big 3-on-3 tournament taking place in a few months. Got the crafty guard Valentin straight out of Paris, Trez from Barcelona who can shoot the lights out, and the scoring machine Stelios, who's a pro and was born right here in Athens. What's dope about these guys is they all grew up watching my videos and moved on to do great things on social media and at the pro level. But we'll save that story for another time. Let's jump right into the stuff that I know will help you.
We're assistant coaches from Panathinaikos. We're going to do some drills today, introduce some spacing drills, how we move without the ball, how we want to space the floor when we attack on one-on-one, and how we collaborate with each other.
I have a quick question. How often do you guys practice?
We practice every day. So many of our players, they do individual workout before. Then we have about 2 or 2.5 hours practice. And after, some of the players, they stay more time and they try to work their body, weight training, one-on-one drills or individual workout. So most of our players, they stay about 4 or 5 hours in the arena to work out.
Also, we have a film session around 30-45 minutes per game as a team and the individual also.
Spacing in today's game is so important. Knowing where to be when you don't have the basketball, knowing when to go one-on-one. This is all stuff that I didn't learn when I was young that they teach here early. So let me sum up some of the stuff that they were talking about. Here's something that everybody should know. If your teammate is attacking from the top towards you and you're 45 or around the wing, you can't stay there because your defender can then guard the both of you. In order to free them up, you gotta move down towards the corner. Easy, right? So the next thing is, it's never about the first kick-out pass after a drive. That's normally not the most open shot. It's the extra pass that allows players to shoot wide open. But in order to do that, the person who's receiving the extra pass has to know where to go. If the player drives to the basket away from you and makes the pass, you then have to fill a spot at the top and be ready for the extra pass. In my opinion, I believe the hockey assist is more important than the regular assist. If you're a ball handler and you're trying to create an open look for your team and you decide to drive, you have to drive with intent to score, point blank. If you don't, the defense doesn't stay honest and they'll just look for steals. But here's one of the most helpful things I can give you. Never drive, make a pass, and then just stand there. You always have to fill out an open spot around the perimeter. And normally that'll be you running the opposite way that you passed. If not, you screw up easy buckets during drives on closeouts. Even with the limited amount of time, the coaches had a lot of info. I was asking questions the whole time, but it didn't stop there. There was a player with a special ISO game that came to give us some tips.
Βάλα στο αριστερό του χέρι, κάνει τη σταυρωτή τρίπλα.
Way to go, yeah.
name is Keith Langford. He's one of the few that come over here and figure it out. He knows how to play how they play the game over here, while also still implementing that ISO game. He made it clear that he didn't want to give us the whole bag since he's still playing, but regardless, he taught us some things that he looks for in his step back. So basically, the key on this step back is he already knows he's going to do it before he does it. One thing he looks to do is attack as hard as he can. He wants to get into the body of the defender and give him a little nudge, but not a push off. But what was a little different was he says he tries to jump back in the air on his step back. He said it helps him a little bit more with his balance on the shot. I've heard this taught so many different ways, but it was cool to see his perspective. When you think a professional scorer, he's somebody that you gotta add to the list. A walking bucket is an understatement. And for all of us to hear it from somebody who's still doing it, that's pretty cool. I was locked into all the basketball knowledge that I was taking in, but one thing I couldn't help but notice was the city. When I think of Greece, I think of a lot of things, but never did I expect to see graffiti everywhere. I've never seen anything like it. But where I'm from, when you see graffiti, it's in the rough parts of the area. And for what I understand, the basketball is no different. Apparently, the Greek Freak grew up in one of the rougher areas in Greece. This may sound weird, but it kind of gives this place an identity. And proof of that is their two most popular teams, Panathinaikos, who we just visited, and the world-renowned Olympiacos. From what I hear, these two teams have a heated rivalry, which I love. But Olympiacos has a guy I'm particularly interested in. He's a legend around these parts, crazy high IQ, and I know he had a lot of info that the hoop community can benefit from.
They call me 10,000 hours. I can't stand when they call me that either. Yo, what's up, legend? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. All right, so what we're working on. Getting that post, let's go. Straight to it, business.
I think you do a disservice to shorter players if they never learn the post responsibilities or never learn how to operate in the mid post. And the same thing goes for the bigs on the perimeter because they all work hand in hand. Georgios Printesis is a player who made a long career by mastering basic stuff and understanding the game. What's funny is everybody's looking for advanced drills, but it's the basic stuff that keeps you around the game for a long time. Today we're working on operating out the mid post. I love teaching this position, but one thing he taught me is how to wipe guards out.
Get the switch, good. Post up. Gonna post up smart. Watch him real quick. Wipe out. Yeah. Go. Okay, I got it. That's nice, I like that.
The screens in Europe are brutal, and they disguise them so well. So all this stuff was great to learn. But there was one thing that I came in knowing that I wanted to ask, and it was about the spin move. Everybody always says it's a travel in Europe, so let's actually get down to the bottom of it.
Everybody always asks is a spin move or travel, and so they're like in Europe, in EuroLeague they'll call it spin move or travel. But when we're doing drills, I saw you go up there, spin move, and you finished it. And he plays in the EuroLeague, so my question is, do they call that a travel?
My answer on that is that if you do it really fast, they cannot call you travel. 2 years ago, I remember the federation decided to call travel this spin move, and many players have problems. Not only the big guys, also the short guys have problems, and it's one typical similar move that all basketball players do. So I believe if you do it correct, they will never call you travel. No.
Okay. Can you show me how you would do it in the game? Just how you would do it.
The spin move, you mean?
Yeah, exactly how you do it. Alright, so there you have it. And on top of that, he didn't spin and go off on one leg, which you see people like Blake Griffin and a few other guys do. So it's nice to hear somebody from the EuroLeague that's been playing in there. How many years have you been playing EuroLeague?
More than 15, 16.
More than 15, 16 years. So you heard it from him.
It was time for me to head out, but this was just the beginning of all the info I wanted to put out there. Matter of fact, if there's something you want to learn, let me know in the comments. My next stop is another trip to the EuroLeague Final Four, where I'll have more to offer the culture. I'll see you there, but until then, stay in the lab. If you want to see the entire journey, starting with Athens, check it out here.